Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new flip-through video. This one is for Providence, and I just wanted to show you again the album I'm using is a Life Crafted size from Citrus Twist, so it's all 3x8, 4x8 layouts, and I think I only have one special insert in here, but the biggest size really can fit is about 4x8, maybe 5, not sure, never really tried it, but maybe. But I just want to show you the album now that it's completed. And I had done about half of it and did some process videos. And I fully intended to show process videos for the second half too, but I was working on it over a weekend and I got so into it and it just went so fast, like it's done. So the only other process videos that are out there are it, and now we get the flip through. So all of these layouts that have photos on them, I think 99% of them were done in Canva. And I did that because I wanted to kind of keep this more contained. This was part of a bigger trip to New York City, and then I spent 2 days up in Providence, and originally I thought I was going to fit it with that. There was no way it was going to fit. So I decided I better do this Canva so that I have a smaller footprint in another album. And my hope is that now that this is done, that I can also fit LA in here. But we'll see. So this is my opening page. I had this 3x8 pocket card already, and cards like this are hard for me to use when they're multicolor like that. I just have a more difficult time. So I thought I'm going to force myself to use it, and I came up with some good embellishments and ephemera pieces that would work. So then really all I had to do was layer those and then do my date stamping, and that was it. So by the time I got to Providence, I took the train from New York. So I got to Providence. By the time I got to my Airbnb condo and put my bags down and kind of settled and got my bearings, it was time for lunch. And there was a spot right in the building because this is actually a condo that was inside a mall. It's the oldest arcade style mall in the United States. And they've turned like the whole upper level into micro condos. And so that's where I stayed. It was super cool. I've never stayed anywhere like that. And bonus that this restaurant was right in there. So I didn't even have to do anything but walk downstairs to go have lunch. When I was done there, I went over to the Providence Central Library because I had seen online how beautiful it was both inside and out, and it did not disappoint. It was gorgeous. And actually, I really didn't include a lot of pictures in this. I had way more than what you're seeing here. And while I was going around, there was actually a couple there that was being given a tour because they were booking it for their wedding. So that kind of gives you an idea of how beautiful it is. And for this page, all I did was I kept it very simple. Just a phrase, puffy heart. These were already added in digitally, so there wasn't much to do there, which is awesome. And then here's just an inside look of one of the hallways. It's very, very ornate. There is one part that felt newer that I assume was probably an addition or that they had to remodel for some reason. But for the most part, it looks like this on the inside. It's stunning. And then because I already had a colorful title and I had my journaling and the dots and everything, those splatters came as part of the template. All I had to do was this. I just cut this from pattern paper, stamped on it. That was it. This is one of the reading rooms over here. And it was very green themed, so I tried to keep all those together. And because these were so busy and so bright, I wanted to keep things minimal with it. So that's why it's just a strip of foiled washi. And then I have various enamel dots to match the colors that are happening. Did some stamping here too on this blank piece of craft ephemera that was just like a speech bubble. So that one was really easy to put together too. When I was done at the library, I decided to go more downtown and just kind of walk amongst the shops and see what they had down there. And I ran across this bookstore. And I didn't really end up buying a whole lot. I bought 2 books like from their bargain table. And that was it, but that's fine. It's a fun memory for me to have that I bought it while I was in Providence. And I just wanted to showcase the shop because it was so cool. I love independent bookstores. But again, because these were so busy and so full of color already, all I did was add these puffy asterisks. And there was actually like a smaller asterisk underneath there that came as part of the design, but I didn't like it, so I covered it up with that. As I continued to explore downtown, I had all these different shots of the beautiful architecture. That was actually my favorite thing about Providence. It's quite a change after coming from New York, because New York is hectic, it's busy all the time, crowds of people everywhere. Providence is like the antithesis of that. It was super quiet, chill, I passed people on the street, but it wasn't a lot. It was a very, very different vibe. And what I liked best was the architecture. Just these old historic buildings everywhere. You kind of can't turn a corner without finding one. And after I was done in more of that downtown Main Street area, I decided to go back towards Benefit Street. And there are a lot of monuments there, even more historic buildings. That's one of the coolest streets in Providence because it has old banks, just old buildings of all types, old homes that maybe have been turned into other things. And again, you can kind of see the architecture here. It's all beautiful. So if you're into kind of that old world style and you dig history and architecture and art, Providence is a great city for you. So here's an example. This is actually a bank. I don't know that it's functional anymore, but the lights were on when I looked in the front door. I was being nosy. I peered in just to see. The dome is beautiful. So I'm hoping at some point you can actually go in and tour it. It was a little too late in the day by that point for me to do it, but it looks gorgeous from the outside. And you can see the other building kind of peeking through there. And again, this is an example of the stunning architecture that you will see. Very old, patina on the door, but it was gorgeous. This is one of the few pages where I actually did not do it in Canva. I just pulled a 3x8 card. I embellished it the way I wanted, and then I did all my journaling because I definitely had things to say, and it was easier for me to do it this way. And I liked the idea of having a few physical items in here, but it's still relatively flat because like these puffy stickers are the most raised items that you're really going to get. So this was a seal that was on the ground by the Justice Building. And I just thought it was so cool. Love the colors on that too. So I kept this very simple. Simple design here on the template. And then all I did here was add a matching label, stamp. That's it. Very simple. And then kind of, I don't know, I would exactly say it's at the end, but along Benefit Street is this park. And it's a beautiful park right in the middle of the city. So it's kind of weird because you're surrounded by the river. And then there are all these beautiful buildings. And then bam, there's this little park in there. But you can see like this gorgeous building peeking out and this kind of rotunda type thing here that has Rhode Island etched on it. It was really lovely. And even though it was a very overcast day, I still enjoyed being out. And then over here, they had this big map of the area. And so I just like zoomed in, took a picture of that, and then turned it into this page. This was already part of the template. So again, all I did was add these embellishments, and I went with pink because I wanted to pop. Like these colors were all starting to feel the same, but pink was something different that I could add in. And I think that was the right choice. So when I was done on Benefit Street, I actually kind of had to backtrack. I had popped into Grace Church when I was downtown, and unbeknownst to me, there was a wedding going on. Very small wedding, but still there was someone like posted inside the doors here who said, "Hey, be really quiet. You can't go in right now. There's a wedding." And she was super nice and said, "Hey, why don't you come back once the wedding is done, and then you can go anywhere you want in the church." And I thought, well, that's super nice. And if you're going to keep the doors open, I certainly will. So I gave that about an hour and then went back. So now you get to see all the lovely photos inside Grace Church. And I think you should go see this, even if you're not a person of faith. I'm not, but I know good art and architecture when I see it. And this definitely qualifies. So I have more photos. I really wanted to blow those up to 4x8 to showcase them. Once again, though, I kept it simple. All I did was add some phrase strips there. This is a digital cutout from a set I bought that's all stained glass windows. I think it comes with like 30 different windows that I have. And I wanted to use some of those, and this one just fit perfectly. The color, the design, all of that. Here's some more within the church, more windows, and I just did simple washi, more of those enamel dots, and some stamping. This side was super easy because these colors were like very saturated already. I didn't want to add a whole lot, so I just did very simple washi with a gold foil in it. And then I had a sheet of stickers from Sticko that are all ornate crosses like this because I tend to go to a lot of churches when I travel. So I just picked out one that I thought matched the best. This was walking back to the condo. I just thought the building was lovely, and because it was golden hour, it was lit up nicely, so I wanted to include that. And then here are some detailed photos of my condo. So this is the outside of the arcade building, and then this is the inside, the hallway where you walk up on the upper level, and then inside the condo. All I did was add these. That's it. Everything else was on the template. This was the next morning, and I got to use a DIY embellishment that I made. Awesome. I've been holding that one for a while, and it worked. Over here, I just badly needed coffee in the morning. I was up and ready to go, but I was still tired. So I featured the coffee shop that I found a couple blocks away, added some stickers, kept it simple. It was quite sunny that day, but very windy. So I wanted to showcase that too. Like, yeah, it looks like it's beautiful outside, but it was cold in the wind. Very simple here too, just some scraps of blank labels I had, some puffy hearts, did it and moved on. And then this is my one special insert here, and that's from RISD, the Rhode Island School of Design. And I wanted to keep that in there because it was my first time going, and I absolutely loved it. If you're an art person, you definitely need to go. And then I covered up the back with this paper, used a photo that didn't really have a match to anything anywhere else. So I put that on the back, and then I used my museum set to stamp this, and all was well with that one. On this side, again, only one photo of the Chihuly piece there. I have a sheet of just sort of different generic travel puffy stickers that are all silver, and I thought it looked good with this piece, but there's also gold, kind of brown tones in it, so then I did the washi down here. One of the other cool things within the museum is the Egyptian area. It's not super huge, but they have a lot of cool stuff, so I wanted to feature that too. And I had a 3x4 card that had the pyramids on it, so I just fussy cut those out and used them here. And then on this side, because this was all kind of busy and very colorful as it was, all I did was add this. So it didn't take much, but I like that I worked in some green on the bottom since there was so much on the top. I also went to the Asian area. They had this special exhibit going on, which I loved. The colors were so stunning. Absolutely loved it. And I had put in some digital papers here, not knowing what I was going to put on top of it. Sadly, they kind of ended up getting mostly covered up. You can barely see them because of the embellishments I chose, but I'm totally okay with that. And then over here I got lucky. I happened to have some foiled Asian lantern stickers from Pipsticks, and luckily they were a pretty good match. So I included those plus this extra label I had, and that's really all it took. On this layout, I loved the curved nature of this because the curvature of the vase and all the circles you can see. All I did was add this title and one puffy asterisk. Sorry, my furnace is making noise. I apologize if you can hear that. And then over here, then I moved on to the Impressionists. And this museum has one of the largest holdings of Impressionist paintings outside of Europe. So if you're an Impressionist person, you really need to make a stop here. All I did here was literally put on that puffy heart. That's it. But I think it looks good. I just matched the yellow that was there. And then more over here, kind of the same thing. All I did was add in 2 asterisks, and I just pulled the kind of pinky red color and use those. So that was a lot of walking around and doing all that already. But then not too far from there is the Providence Athenaeum. And it's a very old private library. And I wanted to go in there and tour that. So that was up next. This is actually a sticker you get when you pay. So I had that. I actually bought a bigger one that was about like this big. And it was way too big for what I had. So I'll hang on to that. Maybe I can find another use for it. So I just used the one that I got for free. And then the inside of this library was so cool. It was really hard to pare down as to what pictures I was going to use, but I think I did a good job. So I had these in there. I stamped this. That's not part of the template. I did that. And I added this puffy sticker of the books. This was a bookmark they had in the gift shop that I loved what it says. There are no answers, only cross-references. As a professor, I totally dig that. And then on the back, again, I wanted to have something that was a physical layout because everything else is digital. So I made this one myself. I just chose this paper that I had from some book things in my stash. Used this bookshelf or cabinet, which I freaking love. I've been hoarding it forever and I'm finally able to use it. And then I just did this little one. And I loved it because it's green and I've got green on the other page. They don't have to go together, but I kind of like it that they do. And on this side, so much is happening. Again, I wanted to keep it really simple. I did quite a bit of journaling. So that already took up some space. So I just added this phrase here and then those 2 puffy stickers to bring out the green in the plants. And that was it for that one. And on this side, I had a lot of neutral things, which really helped. Kept the background fairly neutral. This was easy. I just checked off all the boxes. And then I had black and white washi, very narrow, which was great. And I happen to have this wood veneer with 2 books on it. So I thought that was pretty perfect given what this room looks like. So when I was done at that library, I needed to have lunch before I was going to go explore Brown University. So I headed over that direction. And oh my God, I'm blanking on the street right now. There's a main drag kind of that's over by the university that has a bunch of like bars, restaurants, and shops. That's where this was. Maybe it'll come to me. I can't think of it right now. But I found this Mexican place and I thought that is perfect. That sounds great for lunch. So I dropped all of this into the template. Even this, these were all things that I had already. Dropped them in. The only thing I had to add were those 2 little stickers right there. Because I saw so many buildings on the Brown campus, there's no way I could use them all. I decided to do a collage here and put in as many as I could. So I have 5 photos here. I could have done 6, but I wanted to leave like a place for the eye to rest here. So I just dropped in digital paper. I used one embellishment, just this little cardstock sticker. That's it. I think that and my journaling, that was enough. And then here was another one where I wanted a physical layout because I had this awesome sticker that I bought in the Brown bookstore. So I wanted to use that. And I had this piece, I cut off the rest that was there. I don't remember what it says there, but I cut that off. Added the puffy sticker, did a little bit of journaling, and then some white ink splattering, which I love. It shows up nicely. And then that one was done too. Here's more stuff around campus. And because all of this was so busy and I really had a full template there, I fit my journaling in and then I just did tabs. And actually when I did this one, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. It was kind of blank. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to kind of cheat and I'll put the date on there and that'll be enough. So when I left Brown, I walked everywhere, by the way, never even took a bus. I had looked it up to see like, could I? Yes, you can. But I just felt like I didn't really need to. It's a lot of walking, but it was doable for me because it was spread out over the whole day. So when I was done, this is kind of walking my way back. And again, look at those beautiful buildings around town. And then here I'm crossing the river back towards my condo. And because of this bright orange I had, I just picked out these 2 pieces of ephemera and they worked really well. So by the time I got back, I could have gone out maybe and done something in the evening, like looked for a show or something. But I really didn't want to. I walked so much in New York and then had 2 full days of walking in Providence. I didn't want to walk anymore. I wanted to just stay in my condo, have an easy, quiet dinner, and just rest. And so I got pizza, which you can see here. And I just filled this in after the fact, after it was printed, added the stickers. And then I watched a movie and read a book for the rest of my evening. So you can see me kind of snuggled under the blanket there. It was very cozy, very relaxing, and I had stuff that would all match. So I added that on and it was super easy. And then for the closing page, I didn't want to do anything too much. I didn't feel like I needed to do more journaling. So I just found this 4x8 card I had. I put the date on there because I actually stayed overnight and then left the next morning. And I took the train to Boston and flew home from Boston, not Providence. But I really didn't have any pictures of it and I just didn't feel like it was needed. So I made this the closing page and I just put a little airplane on there to say flying home. So now you've seen Providence in its entirety. I hope you've enjoyed seeing those layouts and that you'll stick around and come back when I do the one for LA. Thanks for watching.